Okay, so here we go. I was asked a question by somebody, and said, Shank, what is the best diet to follow? And of course, I got all crazy and reactive and nutso about this because I have the best diet to follow. In fact, not only do I have the best diet to follow, I have in my possession the only diet that works for everyone. Now understand how insane that is. Just by saying that, guy who has, I don't have good lighting, but I have the one diet that works for everyone. Crazy, right? You would never guess that. But I'm gonna share it with you in a second here. I do want to give you one warning though. There is no diet that is best for everyone and that works for everyone. And that doesn't make sense. I just told you I have the one diet that is the best and works for everyone. I'll explain in a second. But next time someone tells you that, the zone, if you've gotten old enough to remember that, or Atkins, I guess you would say this is more of a keto approach, or I know I beat up on them. I'm sorry, Coach Ben, this has nothing to do with you, but there are members of the vegetarian vegan community, we'll call them the V's, right, who think they have the best diet and that it works for everyone all the time. We got who else do we have out there? Oh, the Dr. Fung and the intermittent fasting people. I'm not going to call them the inters right there, all right? Their diet works for everyone, we don't know it yet. None of these diets, and the other one that's sweeping the Facebook nation, hashtag Octavia, right? And I know there's a lot of, right, so Octavia, yeah. That sell this. It's nothing against you. I loved you in high school and college. You're all wonderful people. But even you're full of crap when you tell people that you have the best diet for everyone that works for everyone. You're all full of crap. I'm not saying your diets don't work for the right person. Your diets work very, very well for the right person. If they're matched up with the right person. That's why outside of my diet, there is no diet that works for everyone all the time. Because people are very different. It is not about the diet, it is about you. And how well the features of the diet meet up with your idiosyncrasies. The better a diet meets with your individual idiosyncrasies, the better the diet's going to work for you. The better you match up with the features of all these different diets, and all have different features, the more likely you're going to use to lose weight. Why? Because if any of these put you in a calorie deficit, they will work. So when these guys go on Facebook, hashtag this, hashtag that, hashtag this, DM me, but they don't tell you that this is the diet that they want you to follow, they bring you off into the side alley of the DM world, all right? And the vegetarians and the vegans are going to save the planet, and the Atkins people, everyone's stupid, they're going to get cancer because they eat carbs. Look, this is getting off the rails right now. I'm trying to be too political with this and not offend anyone, but I'm offensive. So, look. If you're in a calorie deficit, the diet works. If you're not, it doesn't work. Why would it not work for you? Because it doesn't match up well for you as a person. I'll give you an even more explosive, controversial, offensive thing. You ready for this? I didn't even remember to bring something to wipe off this crap off the board. I gotta get something to wipe it off. This stuff is live. I'm going to get something to wipe this off. Bad lighting and bad planning. That's what I have, but I do have the greatest diet of all time. All right? I'll give you another statement. It's going to piss some people off. Religion. Contrary to some people's belief, and they'll be willing to kill you over this, there is no best religion, just like there is no best diet, and I'm living proof of that. I was raised Catholic. Catholicism is wonderful. I have nothing against Catholicism, except for the fact that I like to do two things. I like to complain, and I like to argue. Growing up, these two things didn't necessarily work very well for me in the Catholic Church. So when I became an adult, I found a place where complaining and arguing worked really, really, really well when I converted to Judaism. Not only were people okay with the fact that I complained and argued. It was actually a virtue. So it worked really well for me. But do I believe that this religion is any better than Catholicism? Absolutely not. It's just that, look, if you follow both their tenets, they're going to both teach you how to be less of an asshole. This one just happened to be better for my personality type. I understand that pisses some people off because they really believe very strongly in what they believe. But they're the same ways with diets. Why do you think these people are so wacko about their diets? Because none of them follow religion anymore. Right? So what happens is they have to replace it with some other religion that's going to... I did this in the last video. Why am I repeating this again? There is no ideal diet. So when people say to me, Shank, what's the best diet? What's the best diet that works for everyone? The answer is very simple. I've already rambled on for 5 minutes about this. The answer is very simple. Whatever one fits your idiosyncrasies, your personality. I'll take Octavia. All right? It's all prepackaged foods with the lean and green at night. Or whatever. I don't know if that's big dinner, but it's lean and green. Look, if you don't mind eating that stuff and you enjoy it, you don't mind paying the price for it, and you like the coaching and all the stuff that goes along with it, then it's a great diet. But if you think that food tastes like crap, or you get sick of eating it, or you get annoyed by the Octavia people, it's not going to work for you. It puts you in a calorie deficit, maybe too much of a calorie deficit in my opinion, for a lot of people. But it puts you in a calorie deficit, so of course it's going to work. But if it doesn't match your idiosyncrasies, doesn't match your individual personality, you're never going to follow through on it long enough, consistently enough to stay in the calorie deficit long enough to see weight loss. That's all there is to it. So let's get that out of the way. There is no ideal diet. That's it. Except for the one I'm about to tell you about. Remember, none of this is rehearsed. None of this is put in front of a censor or people with common sense. There's no audience here to rein me in. So if I say something stupid, just deal with it. Don't get all offended and start yelling at me. Right? I got to help you if I knew what was going on inside your heads half the time. That's all this is my brain spewing out all over my living room. So now that we've established there is no ideal diet, and it really all comes down to how well the diet fits the person. I'm going to tell you about the only diet that works for everyone all the time. It's the Oprah diet. Let me explain. So many years ago, probably 20 years ago, I was working in this gym. Life wasn't going anywhere. I had a great dog, but that was about it. And Oprah was on the TV at the gym doing her Oprah thing, and she was talking about this diet she was on. It was going to change everything. And she just lost too much weight. You'll say, well, how do I know Oprah lost too much weight? I'll tell you how I know. Because Oprah's got a giant head. I have a giant head. And when us giant head people lose too much weight, we start looking like lollipops. When we start looking like lollipops, inevitably there's always going to be a massive backlash. And we tend to gain that weight back. I don't know if it's some kind of like genetic key where like the body can't be too thin to support this giant cranium and it'll like bend over and break. But something kicks in that makes you gain the weight back if you get too thin. So I'm watching Oprah and she's talking about this diet she's going on, it's going to solve everything. And then the year goes by and Oprah got big again and no one's talking about it and just the show goes on, right? So I feel bad for Oprah, right? She's out there in front of millions of people failing. And I say, I can help Oprah. And I'll tell you what, one night I was watching TV and the Bodyguard with Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston comes on. And Shawshank Redemption came on. They were back to back, you know, like the cable TV does that. And I had a thought. And I wrote Oprah a letter. I got it off the show. They have like, so send correspondence to the Oprah Winfrey Show. So I got it off of that. And what I said in this letter was, if you pay me and two of my coworkers, one guy's name was Steve Cicatelli, the other guy was, before he was a doctor, Jerry Novak. And by the way, don't come down on these guys. To this day, I'm not even sure they even know I sent this letter out. They probably don't. I'm sure Oprah's security teams knows I sent it out. But I never heard back from her. But this diet is foolproof. And I said, if you hire me, Jerry, and Steve, we'll work in 8-hour shifts around the clock, 48 weeks out of the year, so we get a month's vacation and she gets a break. And every time you try to eat something that's not on your diet, we will knock the food right out of your hands. How could that go wrong? Unless Oprah was like Chuck Norris and kicked our asses after we knocked the food out of her hands, there's no way that diet would not work. It's calorie control to the extreme. And it would have worked perfectly for her. Where the hell my marker going through this? It would have worked perfectly for her. She could easily pay 3 jerks like us with nowhere to go $450,000 a year. And she never would have ate the food because we took it away from her. Right? It's a foolproof plan, except for that most people don't have the resources. What the hell was that? Jesus, thank God I'm only in here alone. I didn't get COVID around here. Not most people have the money, the time, or the willingness to have 3 dudes follow around and knock all the food out of their hands. But it would work. It's foolproof. Just you can't do it. So while it is the only foolproof diet that exists, practically you can't make it happen. So in a nutshell, there is no foolproof diet. Even the Oprah diet. Even that wouldn't work because most people don't have the money and the resources for it. Now this is some kind of new record. The video is only 11 minutes long. I can't believe it. I'm going to do a video next week where I actually go over the 4 steps that will greatly enhance any diet that you're on. 4 simple steps that will greatly enhance any diet you're on. Solid content. There'll be numbers. I'll have it all laid out for you. It'll be the 4 things that I've seen work the most over the last couple decades of watching people actually lose weight and keep it off. But that's it. So if we sum this one up today, there is no best diet. None, no best diet. I don't mean to pick on anyone, and I can't, because every diet does work as long as it puts you in a calorie deficit and it works for you as a person. None of them are special though. You're special as a person, but the diet isn't. It's just got features. You've got strengths and weaknesses, and how well those features match up with your strengths and weaknesses determine how well the diet works, not the nature of the diet itself. All right? There is no best religion. Well, I'm not going to put that on there. That was already controversial enough. But there is a diet that works for everyone, and that's the Oprah diet. But the problem is people don't have the resources to implement it. So for all practical reasons, there is no best diet. So get out there, figure out what works for you, and then follow it. And won't worry about what works for someone else, because they're not you. Now, if they're you, if you have an identical twin out there, then fantastic. But right now, I'm rambling, so I'm going to end this video right now at 12 minutes. Thank you very much.